So, folks, speaking of gay, have we learned anything about the rise of normal gay? That's right. Your gay teens might be up to something that they're now calling normaling. It's a wild new trend where apparently the gays are now normal or something. I don't know. But I have never covered a video by this particular content creator before, and we're diving into it. This is a video by Amir Odom titled Why Normal Gay People Are on the Rise. And my question is, does that make them tops? We need to get to the bottom of this situation. Let's dive in.
Hate when people push their lifestyle.
I don't like to be around other gays.
Normal gays is on the rise, and it's honestly refreshing to see. The type of gay that's low-key, minds their business, just existing as a regular person in society. Because for the longest time, being gay meant that you were loud, dramatic, very feminine, but that's not the case anymore, and that's exactly what we'll be talking about in this video. And let this be a reminder, gay, straight, doesn't matter, that you're not alone for thinking the way that you do. So if you like this kind of raw, real, honest, transparent type of commentary, be sure to subscribe, and let's dive right in this video.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between normal gay and the LGBT.
There's
normal
a difference.
Oh god. Okay. All right. We got the normals and we got the LGBT, okay? The normals, guys. The normals, they just want to live their life. You know, the normal lesbians, they just want to wear their Birkenstocks and their ill-fitting shorts and drive their Subarus with their golden retrievers to the supermarket and live a normal life. Where then they go home and they fuck their wife and, you know, then go to sleep. Maybe have an argument. And that's the life of a normal gay. Now, what's really imperative that you understand about all of this is that that's still LGBTQ. There's no difference. You're still gay.
People are typically conservatives and typically don't want the government involved in their sex lives.
On that note, I feel like that's the most common reason why a lot of the normal gays.
That's right. I forgot. We are adding an N to the LGBTQ. It's the LGBTQIAN plus now. The N stands for normal.
End up being more on the center right side of the aisle because they just want to be left alone. They want smaller government. They want the government out of their business, out of their lives, and to keep it pushing. That's all that I feel like a conservative gay really wants, is just not a lot of government and to be left alone.
Like that.
But that's not what a conservative gay wants, right? Because plenty of leftist gays, plenty of, liberal gays, plenty of, gays all across the spectrum want to be left alone. I'm a socialist. I want the government to leave me alone. I'm a socialist gay. Please leave me alone, US government.
I just want to drive my Outback, pet my tiny dog, wear my cargo shorts, drink chai latte.
As a bisexual, I just want to eat hot chip and lie without the government intervening. Is that too much to ask?
Their whole identity. As a matter of fact, when you speak with them, you probably wouldn't even know. And that's just because there are so many things that make up a human being that is not just their sexuality.
Exactly.
Yeah. There are so many things that make up a human being outside of just their sexuality. So many things. Like, for example, fashion. People communicate and express themselves using fashion. And sometimes the thing that they want to communicate is, I'm just a small town heterosexual. Please don't notice me. And for a lot of gays who dress this way, that's called being in the closet. There are also people who want to express themselves and communicate who they are to other people at a glance. And that's called flamboyance in our society. What is being described here isn't, oh, I'm just normal. No, you just lack taste. You just spiceless, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with being spiceless. There's nothing wrong with choosing to have a boring sense of fashion and like a, you know, social life that doesn't include talking about your romantic partners. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But positioning that as normal when it's very clearly just closeted behavior is, I don't know, like I, I think that's weird, actually. It's the opposite of normal.
Gay is like the only thing that's gay about me is what I do behind a closed door. Obviously, you can throw some characteristics on me. I love Beyonce. I have a list. My hands be flying everywhere. But for the most part, I'm just
Obviously, you can throw some things on me, like Roll's list of several different things that obviously might raise somebody's eyebrows. But what's interesting to me here is by creating this comparison, oh, I'm the normal one. You guys are the abnormal ones. That's a weird distinction to make, right? Because most gay people just want to be left alone to live their lives as they see fit. That's the normal behavior. And when you actually start talking to LGBTQ people of all stripes, like they are at the end of the day people. And I feel like what this conversation is doing, just right off the bat, is trying to take or denigrate the personhood of LGBTQ people who express themselves flamboyantly while putting up on a pedestal the personhood of people, of LGBTQ people who, you know, don't rock the boat too much. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it's talking about passing privileges. Exactly.
a regular schmegular dude minding his business, living his life as an entrepreneur, and I have a husband and we have a dog and we be chilling. That's it. And just because I'm gay doesn't mean I have to be locked into the ideological box and be a characteristic of what a gay person is supposed to be, whether that be loud, feminine, dramatic, over the top. The list goes on. My sexuality.
What you're describing here are stereotypes. Stereotypes are not universal rules. They are often ill-informed assumptions based upon pop culture. No one is assuming that because you're gay, you have to have a certain set of political beliefs, but there are some basic assumptions one could make about somebody who is LGBTQ, right? Like, for example, most people would assume LGBTQ people want to, for example, defend the right of LGBTQ people to get married. And now there's nothing inherent to that position that like queer people all universally want to defend the right to get married in the eyes of the state. Clearly, you could probably find some outliers who don't support that, but there are certain assumptions that are going to be statistically true. Your flamboyance with hand gestures or lisps or love of Beyonce, those aren't the same thing.
It does not and should not define my entire worldview. I do. Like Amir, my personality, my name, that's what defines it. Being gay is merely just a part of me, but it's not my entire existence. And in large,
Yeah, but that's also true of every gay person. This is the thing, right? Like it's treating other people as if they are somehow lesser humans, subhumans, if you will. Like I'm built different because my life doesn't solely revolve around me being gay. But like no gay person's life solely revolves around them being gay.
part, there was a big chunk of gays out there, and they still are, that make them like they're gay, but they're also part of the LGBTQ community, and they're making it that whole identity. And I think that's why it was so important how she pointed out that being gay and then being part of the LGBTQ community are quite literally different. You can be just gay and not exist and relate with this LGBTQ mafia that exists out there, and you don't have to be a part of that. That's why I don't even want to say like this trend.
I mean, that's true. You can be LGBTQ and not associate with and be in community with other people who are LGBTQ, but that just makes you an isolated member of the community. Someone who chooses to isolate themselves rather than participate in wider, communal experience. And there's nothing wrong with that per se until you start saying that makes you better. than other types of queer people.
Of the normal gays, but this rise of just the everyday gay person making themselves be known, that they're not a part of this giant community. It's important to highlight and really show, because there's a lot of gay people out there, especially me. When I first came out the closet, I flew out the closet because I felt like I was expected to be a caricature of what gay was supposed to be. I thought since I was gay, I have to be this poster child of what I'm seeing in the media, and that's not the case. You can just be you. It's okay. It's like normal gays.
That's true. I support what he just said right there. It is okay to just be you. And if that means you aren't flamboyant, that's totally fine. If like you can have whatever aesthetic you want. You can have whatever mannerisms you want. Yeah, you can just be yourself. Crazy. But what gets me is like it's 2026, right? And we exist as members of the LGBTQ community in a world created by the blood, sweat, and tears of decades of activists. And in many cases, we are denied elders in our community because they died. They died of AIDS. So many people died of AIDS in this country, predominantly in the LGBTQ community. And like part of the reason that there is this flamboyance embraced and celebrated within like a lot of the LGBTQ community is because people were dying. And the folks who were out, they knew that perhaps they were going to encounter a ticking clock where their time on this earth was going to be limited. And so they celebrated, they danced, they dressed up. They decided and resolved to live loudly, to live proudly, to, you know, if the world was going to hate them on the basis of being gay, then they would be the gayest motherfucker to ever exist. You know? It is an attitude and flamboyance built on rage, on suffering, on the, you know, alienation brought upon people because of homophobia, because of bigotry, right? And so understanding the history of LGBTQ folks is vitally important in order to understand the LGBTQ community of today. And so I say this because at no point is the LGBTQ community going like, oh yeah, you dress in those drab shirts. You got okay, yeah, all right. You can't be gay. Sorry. It shows an intense disrespect and or lack of knowledge, and I want to assume lack of knowledge from this man.
These are just gay. Like the only thing gay about them is what they do behind a closed door, but they're regular dudes, regular women, whatever it may be. And then the LGBTQ community, that's a whole another umbrella. It's never ending. All the colors, all the theatrics, all the clubs. It's just, it gets to a point where it does start to be extra. I feel like everything always, especially being like a gay dude, I feel like everything's constantly changing when it comes to this damn community. Every other week, there's new labels, new rules, new letters, new acronyms, the whole nine. And if you don't keep up with it, if you call it out, if you don't agree with it, you're the problem. It's exhausting. And that's not even coming from a place of hate. It's just coming from a place of irritation. Like, can anything stay the same for at least 5 minutes, please? And hell, I'm sure you probably feel this way too. I'm starting to feel this way about AI as well. One day it's useful, then the next it's not. It's filtered differently, it's restricted, changing how it responds, and we're all expected to just go with the flow and like be fine with it. That's exactly why I've been trying to sponsor today's video, Venice AI, because they do.
Oh my God. Of course this guy pushes AI. Oh God. Like, of course. I love how someone in the vertical chat is like, let him speak. He already breaks down the crumbs you're targeting, maybe. And it's just like he immediately goes into an AI sales pitch. It's crazy.
For Christians who are taught to love, they're extraordinary hateful.
Attack on Pony Productions, thank you for the $20 super chat. Very much appreciated. But like, the issue I have, beyond like a lack of understanding, is that this man isn't going to come up with a substantial criticism. And we saw that right there when he started talking about how, well, everything's always changing in the LGBTQ community. Always new labels, new things to learn. Oh, can't you stay the same for 5 minutes? And it's just like, no one's asking you to keep up with all of the language, Grandpa. Like, you can just be out of touch with what the kids are saying. The reason new labels are being created, the reason new ideas are proliferating is because a lot of the LGBTQ community is young. They're trying new stuff out. They're trying out what makes them comfortable, what makes them, feel great about themselves, potentially for the first time in their lives. And that's a really big deal. It's a really formative experience. They're trying new things. They're experimenting. And that can be a beautiful thing. And it can also sometimes be irritating. But that's not a substantial critique of the LGBTQ community. That's just a critique of the old, that is levied by the olds against the young. I don't know how old Amir Odom is, but he comes across like old man yelling at cloud.
Things a little bit different. The whole idea for Venice is that you can use AI anonymously, and at that, it utilizes all the models out there that we all know. And
I don't care, and fuck you for trying to get me to use this.
Off a pro plan.
If you were one of the gays who says things like, I don't like to be around other gays, or I don't like to be in gay spaces, or I don't like rainbows, I don't like pride, that is such a fucking character flaw for me, and I don't trust you. You have so much internalized phobia, not just homophobia, not just transphobia. It's literally probably riddled with some anti-blackness, some misogynoir. It has you, because how do you not like to be in community with your own people?
Because my sexuality doesn't define my entire personality. It's clear as day. The same way you being...
Okay, I do want to point out something though, which is that you're saying my sexuality doesn't determine my entire identity, right? Or define my entire personality. His words. However, you are using other people's identities, or other people's sexualities, rather, to define their identities, right? To define their personalities. And I find that interesting, right? I find that to be a very unique form of, it's almost like a rubber glue situation. Anything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. It's very childish. My sexuality doesn't define my entire personality, but your sexuality, which is the same as mine, defines your entire personality. Very strange. Very strange. Especially because, I don't know, maybe this guy doesn't live in a big city. I don't know much about Amir Odom, okay? But you can find communities of LGBTQ people that do woodworking together, that do, nature hikes together, that, have brunch together, that do normal stuff that isn't centered on flamboyant exuberance together, if that's the kind of experience you want. But it seems kind of like he's just saying, I don't want to be around gay people, which is weird. And speaks to exactly what this lady is saying. Woodworking, okay, but lesbians do love woodworking. Lesbians and the gays, a lot of the lesbians and gays like woodworking. Bisexuals just want to eat hot chip and lie, but we'll eat hot chip and lie that we're having a good time watching you guys do woodworking. It's fine. Or maybe we'll eat hot chip and lie that we're having a bad time watching you guys do woodworking, depending on how good you are at woodworking.
It's clear as day. The same way you being black shouldn't explain and describe your entire personality. Those are just characteristics of you. I have black...
Oh, interesting comment. I'll admit it took me years to stop disliking gay people after my aunt, who was a sergeant in the army, came out. With age, I realized people who are who they are they any less human? Exactly! Also, props to you for recognizing you had this internalized bias and you worked beyond it. You grew, and that is impressive. Many people never realize that about themselves and never grow beyond it. Like, good on you for doing the work.
Skin, I'm a Black American, I am gay, I'm a gay man, but that doesn't mean you automatically know, and you automatically know everything about me, and I'm automatically going to agree with and be like other gays or other Black people out there. That's not always the case. Obviously, yes.
Yeah, obviously it's not always the case. And people shouldn't assume that's the case about individuals they meet and interact with.
I do have some things in common with other gay people. I do have some things in common with other Black people. And being gay, like, we do have shared enemies, and that there are people out there that hate me no matter what just because I'm gay. However, that doesn't mean I need to be a part of said community and embrace it and love it and be like within it. That I don't need to. Just because I'm Black doesn't mean I need to put myself in this box and do everything the average Black person does, and if I don't, I hate them. No. So just because I'm gay and I don't like all the rainbows, all the frou-frou stuff, and all the go-go parties and the drag clubs and RuPaul's Drag Race, doesn't mean I hate myself or have internalized homophobia. No. It's just that I understand and I can recognize and I can separate my sexuality from my personality. That's it.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's fine to be able to recognize that. It's fine to realize that you don't fit in a box that society wants to put you in. That's okay. That's actually good. I appreciate that. Where I'm going to differ here is that I don't appreciate then gravitating towards a political ideology that very specifically is predicated. The main platform, one of the main platforms of the political ideology you've shifted and gravitated towards, specifically is aligned against LGBTQ people and disenfranchising people like yourself on the basis of sexuality, on the basis of race, right? Like, that's the problem. The problem isn't you buck the stereotypes and trends that other LGBTQ people might fall into. The problem isn't that you buck the trends that, like, other Black people might fall into, you know? The problem isn't that. The problem is that you are conservative and your political ideas are bad. They're bad and wrong. Like, that's the problem. And then you dehumanize other LGBTQ people because they aren't supporting your political ideology that runs counter to their best interests and their ability to live freely without oppression. Yeah, exactly, Conjure Prairie Dogs. Like, folks like this happy to benefit from the activism, but will not just not participate in the activism to further the rights of others in the community, but will actively oppose additional activism, or even oppose activism in the sense of, like, trying to make LGBTQ people more free, secure their rights in perpetuity, and will oppose those efforts up to and including supporting candidates that would remove their own rights that have been won in the past by activists.
Like, and then their excuses and their reasoning just be so dumb. Like, oh, well, I don't like the party scene. If being gay to you is just a gay bar, then babe, I got some news for you.
Okay, if you're acknowledging that being gay is more than just a bar, then why are you saying people who don't like going to the bar suffer from internalized homophobia and they...
Is that what this person said?
I don't like to be around other gays, or I don't like to be in gay spaces, or I don't like rainbows, I don't like pride. That is such a fucking character flaw for me, and I don't trust you. You have so much internalized, like, phobia, not just homophobia, not just transphobia. It's literally probably riddled with some anti-Blackness, some misogynoir. Like, it has you, because how do you not like to be in community with your own people?
Because my sexuality, yes, I just not a drag.
Like, and then their excuses and their reasoning just be so dumb. Like, oh, well, I don't like the party scene. If being gay to you is just a gay bar, then babe, I got some news for you.
Okay, if you're acknowledging that being gay is more than just a bar, then why are you saying people who don't like going to the bar suffer from internalized homophobia?
That's not what she said.
Google debunkers.
And this isn't making sense.
If you know the history of our community, of LGBTQIA rights. If you
I gotta be honest, this lady's spitting. She's doing great.
know that, and you know how you would then feel a sense of like almost like proud. I'm proud to go to Pride. I'm happy to be in spaces with my community.
Back in the day, I can see this perspective. Because mind you, gays having the right to be married across all the states just happened like 10 years ago. So I can get behind the OG Pride, the OG being like more so.
Yeah, and the narrative is, of course, for this guy that, you know, LGBTQ people got the right to get married, and that was the end of the gay rights movement. Everyone lived happily ever after. There was, of course, no additional consternation whatsoever, no additional attacks on LGBTQ rights. It all ended. It all ended with the Supreme Court allowing gay people to get married. And ever since, Pride has been pointless.
So glad to be accepted in society, proud in owning who I am, not letting society and the world judge me. Yes, but that's completely changed. And the proof in that it changed is quite literally from when I was in high school, when I was growing up, you know, the 90s, the 2000s, that was the LGBT community, and it had a basic rainbow flag. Now we have the LGBTQIAS plus acronyms and an entire new flag, ropes in trans people, indigenous people, two-spirited, black and brown people. They're literally different communities. So no, it's not the same anymore. Like back then, sure, I can get behind some of that because we were facing a lot of harm and judgment. But as we saw throughout the charts and all the polls, yeah, respect for gays was going up. And then now we hit a sharp decline because of this new found community with the non-binaries and the TQ pluses, and it's grown to be too much, and it's quite literally different. So you really can't say that in the year 2026 because
you literally can't say that in the year 2026, huh?
Again, it's different.
It's all different now, right? We grew beyond it. We don't need Pride anymore. There's no such thing as discrimination against LGBTQ people anymore. Nah. It's fine. Hey, you know what? Let's take a look at the UCLA School of Law to see what they have to say about this. Oh, as of April of 2020, LGBT people in the US not protected by state non-discrimination statutes. Let's take a look here. 13 million people ages 13 and older in the US identify as LGBT. The non-discrimination statutes in most states do not explicitly include sexual orientation and gender identity as protected characteristics. Nearly half of all LGBT people lack protections from discrimination in employment, education, housing, public accommodations, and credit. I thought it was all different now. I thought we had solved all the problems. What? What's that? 3.9 million LGBTQ people live in states that lack statutes prohibiting discrimination against LGBTQ people? Wow, that's crazy. I have to be honest. The only way you can come to his conclusion is if you know absolutely nothing about the current state of civil rights in the United States. That is the only way you can come to his conclusions.
To be around people who are like me, like-minded individuals. That's not to say that there's not mess, there's not drama. That's with any and every community.
That's okay. I want to be around like-minded individuals. Why does who I have sex with automatically mean you are a like-minded individual and we agree on everything else? No, that's a touch point. That's a characteristic we have in common. And I do find that sense of, you know, relatability in that if we're talking about a gay issue, for sure. It's nice meeting other gay people and talking about the unique challenges that we face or judgments, sure.
For context, when did he post this? This was posted 3 weeks ago.
But just because I'm talking to someone else that's gay doesn't mean we are on the same mindset and we have the same personality, same hobby, same trait.
Yeah, but that's not what she's saying. What it does mean, if you're talking to another gay person, is that we live in a society that has a shared trait as it relates to LGBTQ people, a shared experience of living in this society as it relates to LGBTQ people. And the society we live in is still very homophobic. It's still very transphobic. It's still very bigoted. And we, as a community, on the basis of that sexuality, on the basis of that gender identity, experience that bigotry. That is the commonality that she's talking about here. Now, do we all experience it the same way? Not necessarily, but we all have our own experiences with this system treating us the way it does.
And like, no, that is one touch point that we both have sex with the same people. And to say that is also to say that just because you're a straight man, straight woman, whatever you may be, that automatically means you're in this bucket and you agree with anybody else that also is straight. No, we know that not to be the case. So why is that? Why do straight people have all this freedom in existing and being different and diverse? But gay people, you're shouting that they're diverse. You're shouting that there's like equality, diversity, and they're different people, but you're not. You're locking yourself up in like this ideological box. And if people are outside of that, oh, they're suffering from internalized homophobia. Oh,
because the box that LGBTQ people have been traditionally put in is one constructed out of bigotry, homophobia, transphobia, etc., right? And in order to go outside of that box, as an LGBTQ person, often means to participate in that same bigotry against others who are the targets of said bigotry. It is to perpetuate the system that oppresses others in your community.
oh, they hate gays, oh, this and that. When straight people are allowed to just exist, they're just straight and everything else is personality. But if you're gay, you automatically have to, be a part of this group. That's never.
You don't have to. In fact, she's specifically talking about how you don't have to be that. You're not seeming to understand it because you put words in her mouth. You put the words that like, you don't have to go to the gay bar. But you talked about having to go to gay parties. You don't have to go to gay parties. There are a very wide diversity of LGBTQ spaces. There are LGBTQ coffee shops. There are LGBTQ bookstores. There are LGBTQ softball leagues. Not everything is a gay hedonistic party. You don't have to go to those if it's not your jam. But he's acting like the only alternative is you must go to hedonistic parties and get drunk off your ass. But you don't have to do that. No one's forcing you to do that. That's also not what she's saying. She's saying be wary of people, LGBTQ people who don't want to go to any kind of LGBTQ event. Because that refusal indicates something about them. And that something is not very flattering.
Never made sense to me.
But you cannot tell me you're a good person and you're gay and you feel that way. I've never heard an adequate reason for a gay person to say that out their mouth. It's weird. You're a weirdo, actually. And
put on the assless chaps, Shinji.
Thanks.
I feel like people who say that pander to straight people because it's like, oh yeah, I'm not like these degenerate gays. I'm one of the good guys.
I'm not.
Like you.
Dude, he's unironically doing the thing. He's oh, this guy sucks.
Ain't shit, actually.
At the end of the day, if anything, I'm just highlighting and I'm letting it be known.
I'm not. I'm built different. I'm not like those degenerate gays, which is everyone who's not a normal gay like me.
That no, I'm not like this clone and this groupthink ideological like mentality of the modern day LGBTQ community and all the things that they stand for and that they push for. No.
Like what? Basic rights? Worker protections? The right to not be discriminated against by your boss? What things? What things are the LGBTQ community pushing for right now? Are those things in the room with you right now?
I am completely against a lot of the things that they're pushing, specifically the TQ side of stuff. Everything related to the trans stuff, non-binary, they, them, hate speech. No, we don't need, I'm completely removed from that.
Non-binary, okay. Hate speech. So you're pro-hate speech? I'm genuinely baffled by this guy. Like, obviously, yeah, he's obviously like a LGBT without the T kind of gay, but him being pro hate speech is really sending me right now.
I am, because this is the same community that's telling me LGBTQ plus community is all in one, but then also LGB is sexuality and TQ plus is identity. So if they're literally different, why, as my gay being my sexuality, the hell does that have to do with some trans person?
And again, as I said at the beginning of covering this, understanding the history of the LGBTQ civil rights movement is pretty key here, specifically because it emerges out of an alliance between several different groups targeted for their sexuality and gender identities, right? So if you go back and look at the history of LGBTQ people in America, what you find is crackdowns. You find laws passed on the basis of what type of clothing people are allowed to wear. There were clothing laws. If you were wearing 3 types of clothing that were associated with like the other sex, you could be arrested for that. And this meant that, gender nonconforming people, trans people were arrested alongside lesbians and gays who were just having fun with fashion. And so, like, that in turn created a coalition because the places that they were then allowed to hang out and how people were allowed to express themselves when it came to, like, for example, kink, leather daddies, for example, are individuals who would have been targeted by the same types of crackdowns on LGBTQ people, which is why Pride includes people marching along in like leather daddy garb. Includes people standing in solidarity with the LGBTQ community, because you know what? Some leather daddies, they're straight, and you know what? That's fine. That's fine. That's A-okay. But you have like this coalition of people who are targeted on the basis of their sexuality, on the basis that they were doing sex wrong, that they were spreading perversity and degeneracy, who were targeted along very similar lines to what the Nazis targeted degeneracy in Nazi Germany about, right? Again, with a lot of the same rhetoric and ideas around how exactly queer people functioned, right? The Nazis were the ones who coined ideas around LGBTQ people being a mental disease. A lot of the rhetoric from the time you can find even to this day, talking about how gay people were spreading via a mind virus. And maybe if you've been paying attention to conservative rhetoric for a while, that might sound a little bit familiar. Because the Nazis meant it literally, as in a mental disease that was transmittable by contact. And in a similar way, it's used to this day by folks on the conservative right. And so you have this idea that has haunted the LGBTQ community for generations. And what is that? What do your rights as a gay man have to do with the rights of a trans person? Everything. Because the civil rights movement for LGBTQ people in this country was started by trans women. Was started by people of a diverse set of genders and sexualities coming together to stand up to unjust institutional power, to stand up to the violent crackdowns they were being subjected to stand up to the people who were using the law to hunt them for sport, and do something about it. And you stand here in 2026 profiting off of the last, 60, 70 years of their labor, acting like you're above it, acting like you have nothing to do with it. As you stand in a superior form of rights as a result of their hard work, as a result of their bricks, as a result of the risk they took standing up to cops that would sooner beat them to death than have a conversation with them. The smug above it all attitude, man. When you reap the benefits they sowed.
Can understand there are sects of people and groups that hate everything regarding gay, lesbian, bi, trans, queer, anything related to that. We have
That's every conservative. They are willing to use you as a tool until the second they can get rid of you, and then they will.
the same, again, common enemy. But besides that, no. When you go to these gay organization websites, it used to be for gay people. It used to be for lesbian people. It used to be for bi people. Now it's all trans rights, trans adults, trans kids, non-binary this, non-binary that. That has nothing to do with me being gay. So I'm not self-hating for not being a part of that when you're literally telling me sexuality and identity are quite different. The logic has never added up or made sense to me on that basis.
I don't give a if this shit triggers you, because if it triggers you, then you are literally part of the problem. We need to bring pride back to the drawing board. Shit got out of hand. There's no reason there should be naked people walking around with literal genitalia out and about. There's even, you know what? There's even less of a reason that we should be allowing people to be wearing like fetish gear and then just getting like pissed on.
This actually happens. And it's like me being gay.
I do have to ask, what pride event did you go to where you saw naked people pissing on each other openly at the event? If this actually happened, every conservative news agency in America would be talking about it 24/7. This actually happens. Does it though?
Gay, I'm automatically grouped in with that because there's this big umbrella term and oh, we're the gay community. We're all accepting. This is everything that's gay. Just because I'm gay doesn't mean I relate with that. I co-sign that. I am a part of that. No.
You know, I love when a rando on the internet just says something with no evidence presented whatsoever, and it's just taken as gospel fact. So cool. Also, just want to point out, kink at Pride is just people wearing clothes at Pride. It's people wearing fetish gear, which is, I want to point out, oftentimes more clothing than you will see worn at any average beach. Like, cis people will like strip down to Speedos on the beach, or like little short like swimming trunks on the beach, completely topless. And like, there's no problem. But the second somebody puts on like a latex outfit that covers more of their body than that, conservatives lose their mind. It's crazy.
There's no reason for children to be there. That's inappropriate. But two,
Yeah, that's why they have adult pride and children's pride. Children's pride doesn't have any of that. If you're in a don't bring your kids to adults only pride.
Pissing on somebody in the middle of the street have to do with me being gay? If anything, it's just
It doesn't, and you haven't proved that happened.
Sex conference of which straight people, like, you know, there's those gay cruises and they all be doing type of wild stuff. Straight people have swinger cruises. Straight people have swinger festivals. Straight people have sex festivals. They keep it low key.
Okay, this is actually an excellent point, right? Straight people have swinger cruises. Straight people have sex cruises. But they're low-key about it. My question is, who then is doing the extra legwork of associating gay sex cruises with the entirety of the LGBTQ community? Because I'll tell you something, it's not gay people doing that work. It's not LGBTQ people saying, yes, this gay sex cruise represents all of us. That's homophobic bigots saying that. Also, yes, they literally advertise straight swinger cruises.
Straight people being sexual deviants, they keep it on the low. Gays.
Not true, library. You've seen naked LGBTQ people peeing on each other in a library? I very much doubt that. I think, I'm not an expert on internet bullshit, but I'm pretty close, and I think you might be making that up.
Are just loud in your face. We're doing this, we're doing that. Oh my gosh, yay, yay, yay. You wonder why people look at you sideways. Because as freaky as the gay community can be, straights are freaky as hell too, but they know how to keep that shit on the low and in behind.
No, they don't. They literally don't. If you've ever been to a straight club, guys will literally just come up and grab your genitals or your ass. The straights know how to keep it on the down low. No, they don't. That guy running around your community who's known like for flashing his dick, that guy is straight.
Behind closed doors. It's the gays that's just, oh yeah, karate chopping the door down and saying, look at me. We don't need that.
Bro, and I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, you're kink shaming. I don't give a to go do that.
Yes.
By the way, I fucking care. Go do it in your own private home.
True. If you want to pee on somebody else, do it in your private home. But also, I have yet to see any kind of evidence of gay people peeing on each other at Pride while naked, like this guy is alleging.
Thank you.
I don't want to see it. You know what's more important to me? Like, to me, Pride should be all about providing visibility to equality. And in great part, that means giving people, such as children, the opportunity to see that anyone can be loved equally.
Yeah, which is why you take your kids to Children's Pride. Or if they're teenagers, to the normal Pride that isn't for adults only. Most cities have all three types. Also, most of the adults-only events don't take place outside. They go to private venues.
Not gonna have children in the same room.
Just because you didn't see it, it doesn't exist? Let me put it this way. I can imagine horrific atrocities. For example, did you know that every human being on Mars was decapitated viciously? 10 billion people just died. Did you know that? Have you thought about the 10 billion decapitated Martian men? No, I bet you haven't, you monster. How dare you not, like, pour one out for the 10 billion headless Martian men? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just because I'm not presenting pictures of it doesn't mean it didn't happen. How dare you disrespect the billions who were slain just 10 minutes ago? This example is meant to make you feel stupid, and I hope it succeeded.
As a man who is getting literally slapped in the ass with a bat.
Not happening. We need to pick one. Either we're gonna have a Pride festival where we're celebrating all the different types of humans that exist in America and different types of families, and we're prideful in the fact that this country is so accepting and loving, and keep it PG, like literally PG, like the movie theaters.
We have that. It's called Children's Pride. Again, like, this guy's entire channel is, I am a black conservative gay man. Like, that's it. That's his channel identity. And that's, like, fine for what it is, right? But, like, know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, he's, as if, oh, there's only one Pride, and it's people with their dicks out. That's the only Pride that exists. And it's not. Like, I've been to Pride. I've gone, by the way, to, like, the NSFW Pride events. So I know how this works. There are children's Pride events that take place in very welcoming, lovely parks that are worked by wonderful volunteers. And then there is, like, the mainstream Pride event that is, you know, more oriented towards, you know, adults and, you know, young adults. And that is kept very largely like PG-13. You know, you might hear some fuck words. You might see some people dressed a little provocatively, but not more provocatively than one might see in a Sports Illustrated magazine. And then you have the NSFW events, and those take place behind closed doors that you need an ID to get into. And even there, people are generally clothed. There's a lot less clothes. There's a lot more glitter. It's a lot sweatier. People be dancing on some poles. But you know what? It is still not open to children. You act like there's never something out of sort. No, but like trying to say that because one person got decapitated in the United States last year, that means that is a frequent occurrence in the United States, there's a problem with that. And if you're claiming that there was an event that took place at Pride where people were naked and pissing on each other, and it was sanctioned by the Pride organizers and not just humans behaving badly as humans often do, then I have a problem with that, because that is a pretty extreme claim and it's going to require some evidence rather than just, I'm going to imagine it's true. That was my point. My point was, if your argument could equally be used to validate believing that 10 billion Martians were just decapitated, then maybe it's a bad argument and you should abandon it. My point was to illustrate your faulty thinking here, and the faulty thinking of someone like Amir Odom.
PG at that, or we're going to agree that, hey, this Pride Festival is 18 up and it's a giant who wears the least parade, kinks. It doesn't make sense to me. It literally needs to go back to the drawing board, and Pride has gotten out of hand, and this is why you have more normal.
Pride is a protest. It's not meant to make you comfortable. I mean, I can also see both sides of it. I think that there is value in Pride becoming a vastly more accepted and mainstream event that all kinds of people go to. But I also understand, like, it should retain, like, a lot of its roots. It should not abandon its core message. And as such, it is always going to be somewhat of an outsider event. That being said, right, I think that it's fine for it to become a kind of revolutionary party, right? Because what revolution is complete without dancing?
Normal gays expressing this concern, saying, hey, this shit don't line up with me. I don't agree with this. I don't like this. Because it quite literally doesn't make sense. And you're not a hateful gay person. You're not homophobic.
Also, welcome, Raptor Blue Raiders. Come on in. Make yourselves cozy.
Transphobic for calling that out for what it is and saying that out loud.
Nothing pisses me off more when a gay
won't be accepted if it's mean. I mean, counterpoint is that Pride was started by people literally throwing bricks and starting fires. So, I mean, eventually Pride has become accepted despite, you know, having a mean edge to it, right? But I also think that, like, you know, there's a time to riot, there's a time to party. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. But the fight and the struggle for civil rights and for equal protection under the law never ends. It is a constant and it's a constantly unfolding project that we must pursue at all speed.
A guy says, why can't we just be normal gay men? Like, why can't we just be normal gays? Like, I'm not all for that gay shit. Like, I don't want to wear a fucking rainbow. I'm the same way. Sometimes, like, I'm not gonna wear a fucking rainbow, okay? But there's nothing fucking normal about gay people and, like, being like a normal gay.
I think that's when you're taking it extremely too literal and you're not highlighting the nuance in that. You did a little bit when you said that I'm not like that either. I'm not gonna wear a rainbow. It's not that deep. That's all we mean. Where are the normal gay dudes at? Where are just...
If all you mean by being a normal gay is that you're not going to wear a rainbow, like, that's not a really interesting. It's not a really interesting stance. You're just saying you don't want to wear a rainbow, and, like, if you've ever been to Pride, you will also see that there are plenty of LGBTQ people who go to Pride who also aren't wearing rainbows.
Like, the average guys. Average and normal, pretty much same word. There's no problem in...
Well, to be very clear, Grandy's Garden, MLK was not peaceful, right? MLK was specifically and very notably not peaceful. MLK was non-violent, right? And there's a difference between that, because MLK and the civil rights movement deliberately planned to have scenes of chaos, to have scenes of unrest happen as a result of their protests. You know, he died one of the most hated men in America when he was assassinated. And that was because he was seen as a violent rabble-rouser at the time. And so what he was doing specifically relied upon violent response to non-violent action that was disruptive, that was, you know, inconvenient to a white supremacist nation. Do you think Charlie Kirk was bad? I put out a 3-hour video about Charlie Kirk. If you're interested in my opinions on him, you can go watch that over on my channel.
Desiring wanting to be around and highlighting normal gay guys. It's a normal experience to want and desire.
Are you crazy? Like, we are gay. They're gonna come after you anyway if you come after us.
You say they're gonna come after you if they come after us. We know that's not to be the case. Trump.
We know this not to be the case. They're literally rolling back non-discrimination laws to allow them to discriminate against LGBTQ people. The discrimination happens whether or not you are a normal gay or a flamboyant gay. The discrimination doesn't give a like I gotta be honest, bigots don't care if you present yourself as the most passable, like, heterosexual man on the planet. If they know that you're gay, they're still gonna discriminate against you. The rainbow is a sign from God that he will never destroy the earth with water ever again. I mean, that's like the biblical imagery, right? But you certainly understand there are other religions that have been around for thousands of years who have also seen rainbows, right? This is like saying Christianity owns the ocean because in the Bible it says God created the ocean. So the gays can't go on their cruises anymore. Like, come on. The gays will never take the ocean from us.
Has already been president.
It's silly. It's silly, man. Stop it.
Nothing happened to gays. He's president now and nothing's happened to gays. What we do see, and we see the trends, and we've seen the graphs, the gays were starting to be fine. But again, like I said in the beginning of this video, they're different communities now. They advocate for different things. They're pushing different things. So yeah, you're gonna see the decline.
Danny Boy of Light, this is live.
Because it's not like the community stayed the same. Yes, there is a common enemy, so you want to say, but there's also a growing amount of people that are like, hey, I'm cool with gay people. I'm cool with you living and existing, but don't flaunt it and show it in my face, going so far as the super flamboyant, the super over the top, the rainbows, the glitter, the super
There was no rain before the flood? As somebody who literally taught the Bible for years, that is not accurate. That is not accurate to the biblical text.
I mean, like, that part, no. Like, when we're talking about the stereotypical LGBTQ community, no part of that. But there's a large amount of people in the United States, especially straight people, even some religious people, they're like, hey, I ain't got no problem with a chill gay dude. But it's when you are over the top.
The earth was watered by mist before the flood. I have to be honest, I am thrilled and delighted by this absolutely wild new turn in biblical literalism. I was not expecting to encounter this here. I'm genuinely baffled in the most delightful way. Mistborn was real. Hashtag Brandon Sanderson.
The only I can kind of relate that to is they don't like that caricature, that personality, that kind of identity group.
Cool person? Hell yeah, I can work with that. I can work with Trump sucks as a president.
For example, black people, right? There's a difference between black people.
Yeah, Libbies can't acknowledge the pre-flood misting of the world. It's true. Liberals will never understand.
Hello, me, just like a black American versus a hood. It's just so commonly that when you're talking about the black community at large, you're referring to the hood behaviors within it. You're talking about gay people, you're talking about the gay community, that caricature that exists. But more often than not,
there's only two genders. Trump is your president. Respect your country. Man, respect your country. I believe in America that values freedom. And I live how I want. So shove your preconceived notions up your ass. And maybe choose to believe in freedom instead of whatever the fuck bastardization of, serve and obey you believe in.
People don't have a problem with black people, they have a problem with hood people. Hood behavior. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. If you're just hood, it's like, the ghetto, That's what people have an issue with. So for gays, a lot of people aren't even homophobic. They just don't want to deal with the faggotry that is the LGBTQ community. They ain't got no problem.
My Rottweiler identifies as a cat. What do you think about that? I think that's fascinating. How do you communicate with your Rottweiler to know that he or she believes that she's a cat? I'm getting more interested in this back and forth, honestly.
I'm a regular schmegular gay people exist and going about their day.
Wait, I'm sorry, did he drop a slur?
Gays, a lot of people aren't even homophobic. They just don't want to deal with the faggotry that is the LGBTQ community.
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're not homophobic.
God
we just
turned the
don't want
hose
to
from
deal with
mist to pressure
slurs.
wash, causing the flood accidentally. He's since fixed it to shower.
Oh, that's good to know. He must have gotten Satan, his local plumber, in on that operation.
They ain't got no problem with regular schmegular gay people exist and going about their day. No, it's not that they have an issue with. It's this damn crazy ass community.
Hey, you guys, my name is Todd Mendiola. Hi, and I'm one
Hi,
of
Todd.
what we call the normal gays. Okay, I've been out of the closet since I was 20 years old, and I've never lived by my sexual identity or what my sexual preference is. If somebody asks me if I'm gay, I tell them. Do I make out with guys in public? No. Do I go around announcing?
Do I kiss my partner in public? No. Do I hold hands with him in public? No. Do I tell people we're associated? No. Do we eat together in public? No. Do we see movies together in public? One time. We sat 50 feet apart on opposite ends of the theater. But I knew in my heart we were holding hands, and that was wrong. Do we go to the grocery store together? No. Do I buy him food at the grocery store? Also no. Are we independently wealthy? Yes. Do we live in separate houses? Also yes. Have we ever had sex? No. Is he real? I'll never tell.
To everybody that I'm gay and that, you need to accept me? No, because I had already accepted myself as gay, and I knew that the people that surrounded themselves around me knew I was gay, and everybody accepted me.
That's what it should boil down to. It's weird when you're expecting other people to automatically accept you and be okay with you. No. The more obviously, I'd love for the projections to go away, the stereotypes to go away. I would love that. But at the end of the day, when you focus on yourself and you focus on your growth, your individuality, your own life, and your crew around you, they're going to love and accept you for who you are, and then you go about your day. When you're out here being this demanding, this loud, this aggressive, people are not going to respect that if you're acting crazy. If you are flaunting around in the streets and you're in Speedos and you're making out and like you're doing all the very deranged stuff, no one wants to see that, straight or gay. For me.
Now, what's interesting about this is that straight men in Speedos do make out with their partners in public or kiss their partners and like walk around in skimpy little outfits. And that's fine.
Holding hands? That's how babies are made. M-Preg incoming.
God. But also, all of this is difficult for me personally, because like I'm a child of like the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, and I remember vividly the news coverage of, Matthew Shepard, right? And like the idea here that like, oh, well, we're just normal. We're just out here living our own lives. And, if you just live your own life and you don't like, present as gay or do anything gay in public whatsoever, people can like you. And it's like, I don't know. I keep thinking back to like Matthew Shepard, who was tortured, tied to a wooden fence, and left to die, beaten and alone on the side of the road. I think about that a not insignificant amount of the time. That this, 21-year-old kid was going through some stuff, met these two guys, thought like went with them, and then these guys betrayed that trust and murdered him horribly, horrifically. And I think about that, and then that happened, right? Not that long ago. It happened in 1998. And the idea that because it's 2026 now, we're just so far removed from that. Matthew Shepard was just trying to live his life too. He wasn't trying to be flamboyant. He wasn't trying to be extra. He wasn't trying to be like degenerate, in Amir Odom's words. And that didn't save him. He was still beaten to death and left to die on the side of the road. And I just think about that a lot. Because the idea here that you can somehow, as an LGBTQ person, make yourself palatable enough to protect yourself from bigotry isn't true. It's not a true idea. Making yourself as digestible as possible to the people around you does not save you from institutionalized bigotry. It does not save you from the kind of delusional hatred that many people in our country have for LGBTQ people, you know? And we're going to talk about this coming up, but there was just a mass shooting like a couple days ago at a mosque in San Diego. 2 teenage boys covered in body armor, which was covered in Nazi regalia, with long guns, tried to storm this mosque. And authorities have recovered, of course, a manifesto. It's full of neo-Nazi bullshit, white supremacist rhetoric, you know, typical far-right stuff. And they talk extensively in this manifesto about hating LGBTQ people, about developing just this abhorrence of LGBTQ people. And to people like that, and there are, unfortunately, more of them than you might think in this country who hate LGBTQ people that much, there is no amount of respectability that will save you. And I like, that is kind of one of the tragedies of a position like Amir Odom. He's trying to maintain the illusion, not among LGBTQ people, because Amir Odom's content is not geared towards LGBTQ people. Amir Odom's role in the conservative propaganda space is to provide plausible deniability for people who do experience that level of bigoted hatred for LGBTQ folks. To give them a way to say, well, I don't hate LGBTQ people. I just hate the degenerate ones. I just hate the same ones that Amir Odom hates. And Amir Odom, he's one of the good ones. But that hatred eventually grows so big that it consumes those who provide that plausibility narrative. Eventually, were Amir Odom's political stances to be validated by the general electorate of the United States, he would be destroyed.
I don't like PDA. It makes me uncomfortable. Straight gay doesn't matter. It's like we're in public. That's just me, but again...
Yeah, it makes me so uncomfortable to hold my partner's hand in public. That kind of PDA, it's gross. Like, man, just sad. Impoverished. What, PDA makes you uncomfortable in public? Like, if you're getting a romantic dinner with your husband, you're not gonna, like, give him a smooch during your candlelight dinner? That's sad. The way you police yourself in ways that straight people would never police themselves, it's sad. It cheapens your life and your experience.
Again, not all gays are like this, and I'm glad that we got an OG normal gay out here that's explaining this.
All these other letters after the LGB are identity crisis. They're people that I don't understand what it's about. It has nothing to do with me liking guys. Trans is a completely other topic, and all these other, they, this, thems. It's all different. I'm just one of the normal gays that lives my life privately. If you ask me if I'm gay, I'll tell you. I've been in the fitness industry.
By the way, there are also trans people who are like this, who try and say, like, I'm a normal trans person, so, like, don't be bigoted towards me. You want to be bigoted towards, like, the flamboyant transes, the non-passing transes. Look, I pass really well. Don't be bigoted towards me. No. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking shit that this guy is pulling right here. And of course, it doesn't work in that circumstance either. Bigots still hate trans people, even the ones that try and make themselves as palatable as possible.
Industry for 35 years, successfully went from Seattle to Hollywood trainer to New York.
No one wants to watch people make out? Then don't stare at other people on a romantic, like having a romantic dinner. Stop being a freak who's staring at other people.
For Soul Cycle Berries Boot Camp for 14 years as a full-time instructor in New York City, fundraised, but I never lived my life by my sexual identity.
No, and no one should. Your life shouldn't be dictated by your identity.
Coder Joe, thank you very much for the 2 tier 1 subs. I love Adam Tots. I love Adam Tots. Yes, it is. It is this comic in particular. We finally did it. We finally outlawed all the trans people and drag queens. Thanks for your help. Happy to be of service. So, who are we going after next? I said, who's next? Who? It do be like that, though.
It shouldn't be, the whole lifestyle, your life, your personality, your friend groups shouldn't.
Also, everyone should go follow him, Adam Tots. Great cartoonist. Excellent work. Also, his horror stuff is very fun.
Be based off of just you're gay, just you're black, just you're white, just you're this, you're that. No, you are an individual person. You are different. You are special. You are.
Yeah, any individual is more than stereotypes. But that also applies to the people you're talking about. The people in the community you are blanket hating on. Like, of course, like, flamboyant LGBTQ people are just as valuable and also not as subject to the stereotypes you are trying to push on them. God.
More than these little characteristics that are about you.
No one's next, says somebody who never studied history in their life.
You're more than that. You have more substance than that. And your life shouldn't be limited to just whether you're gay or you're black, whatever it may be. That's not what it should be. Be proud of who you are. Accept who you are. If someone asks you, yeah, I'm gay, what's up? What's good? What about it? But you don't have to make it your entire identity. Your life doesn't have to revolve around it. That's what we're referring to when it comes to this whole normal gay conversation.
Yeah, no LGBTQ person's life revolves entirely around them being gay. That's not the case for any queer person. But again, and I said this earlier, I'll say it again, the reason LGBTQ people come together as a community is because of the shared experience of being oppressed by societal bigotry towards LGBTQ people. That's the reason the community forms. And part of the reason the community doesn't have that many elders, that many old people, is because the Reagan administration allowed AIDS to ravage the LGBTQ community before doing anything to act on it, right? And so a whole generation of people in the LGBTQ community was wiped out.
Like, we're seeing more people who are gay just live a regular schmegular life. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. There's a rise of gay people not identifying with the LGBTQ community, and that's okay. You can just be you.
That's not true. 300,000 LGBTQ people died of AIDS during the AIDS epidemic. Please learn more about what you're talking about before you say that.
You don't have to be a part of this caricature that is the LGBTQ community. You don't have to. And for so many gays out there, they fall into that trap that they have to, that they should.
I know way more about history than you do. I studied history in college, and I minored in it. So I have a pretty definitive level of expertise compared to most average Joes.
Community's all I got. They have my back. Everyone else hates me. This, that. Oh my gosh, it's so hard being gay in America. No, you can just live your life. You can find your friends that are going to love you and accept you for who you are. It's okay. Do I have gay friends? Of course. Do I have straight friends? Yes. Like, just have good friends around me, and that's all you need.
And I already knew people were...
Get over yourself? Get over yourself. You just denied the deaths of 300,000 people.
I know way more about history than that guy, and I say you're correct.
Thank you.
Also, I donated to say it, so I'm objectively more correct.
True, Jobert. True. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate it.
Proud of me, so I didn't need to go march on top of these floats either and prove to everybody that I was just as good as them, because I already knew I was.
Period.
So, and I like to, I'm not a Speedo, I'm a board short guy.
Same.
And anyway, I just wanted to let you know that there are some of us out there, and I know some of you
the board short community is devastated, I'm sure, at the association with this clan.
Watching that are gay know exactly what I'm talking about.
Preach. I know there are people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about. They're relating to what I'm saying, what this guy is saying.
Are you talking about HIV? Yeah, I'm talking about the generation of LGBTQ people who died to HIV, you ding dong.
You're not alone. You're not
And HIV becomes AIDS.
crazy for thinking the way that you do. You don't have to be lumped into this huge community. You can just chill.
There are plenty of elder gays. What are you talking about? There are 300,000 fewer elder gays because they died from AIDS. Like, I don't understand how bad conservatives could possibly be at math. And yet every day when I do one of these streams, you guys manage to push it to new lows. When you take a community of people and you subtract 300,000 from said community, the community becomes smaller. There are fewer of those people in that age demographic. I don't know how much more straightforward I can make this.
And be you. I know some of the most manliest gays out there. Ranchers, plumbers, electricians.
Yeah, because gay men can be masculine and also still part of the LGBTQ community.
Like, you wouldn't even think that they're gay.
AIDS isn't our fault, bro. Okay, so I guess we do need to talk about the history of AIDS. I assumed people would know more about this. You know what? Let's just take a look here at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation website. Also, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs.
Promoted from when you hit LVL 20 as a gay and wanted to promote.
That's true. You do have to hit level 20, but you also have to make sure when you hit level 20, you're holding the correct emblem. If you aren't holding the right emblem, you will class into a potentially suboptimal evolution. Let's just take a look here. Reagan's legacy. No look back at the nation's 40th president would be complete without remembering his inattention to the AIDS epidemic.
For the last month for pointing out that being pro-censorship of media that they don't like will only hurt the LGBT plus community. This vid has that energy.
Why are you mad at me about it? I'm mad at you because you denied that it happened. It's like coming into my chat and denying the Holocaust. I'm gonna get mad at you about that. I'm gonna get mad when you, like, come in and you say something unspeakably stupid from a place of ignorance. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and trying to educate you on this topic, as opposed to attributing to you malevolence, which is, I think, particularly generous on my part. No look back at the nation's 40th president would be complete without remembering his inattention to the AIDS epidemic, which arose on his watch. Let's take a look here. This month's National Remembrance of Ronald Reagan's 100th birthday.
Fun fact for the guy in the video, you want masked gays? The original gay men's clubs were leather/motorcycle/military clubs.
That's true. 100th birthday is focusing largely on his accomplishments, but no look back at the nation's 40th president would be complete without remembering his inattention to the AIDS epidemic which arose on his watch. Consider that Mayor Dianne Feinstein's age budget for the city of San Francisco was bigger than President Reagan's age budget for the entire nation. That was true for 2 years in a row.
Reagan's explicit orders to his CDC during at the start of AIDS was look busy, do nothing. Disney and rock and roll are objectively worse because Howard Ashman and Freddie Mercury we taken.
Yep. Libby's hate debate. You're not debating. You're just saying something didn't happen.
With a bi emblem and now I do nothing but eat hot chip and lie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the mayor of San Francisco's budget for people affected by AIDS was bigger than Ronald Reagan's budget for the entire country affected by AIDS. This was true for 2 years in a row in the mid-1980s. In fact, Reagan's proposed federal budget in 1986 actually called for an 11% reduction in AIDS spending from $95 million in 1985 down to $85.5 million in 1986. The disease we now call AIDS was first identified 30 years ago in medical journals in 1981, President Reagan's first year in office. It quickly took hold in the media and in the national consciousness, yet it wasn't until May 31st, 1987, that President Reagan would give his first major address on AIDS. It was at an outdoor speech in Washington organized by AMFAR, the American Foundation for AIDS Research. It took him 6 years to even talk about the fact that hundreds of thousands of people were dying.
Imagine being married to the throat goat, and both of you hating asterisk asterisk asterisk. Inconceivable.
Inconceivable indeed. It's worth noting, by the way, that 300,000 is such a large number that it begins to get close to the number of soldiers who were killed in the US military during World War II. So, I don't know, seems like a pretty big oversight to not talk about it when you're president of the US.
For us, but sad. Also peanut butter.
Peanut butter is good too, I agree. You think Ohio had a problem? Ohio did have a problem. It was a national illness. It wasn't located just in San Francisco. Like, frankly, the idea that you're just like, well, only 300,000 people died. You're like laughing off the number of casualties the US military endured during World War II. Like, oh, well, it's not a big deal that the president of the United States didn't fund a response to it. Didn't even talk about it for 6 years. Like, it'd be like if the US president didn't fucking talk about World War II as it was happening. Get your head out of your ass, please.
Unless they told you.
You can't admit it. You are incoherent and frankly deeply offensive to anyone who actually gives a damn about the lives lost. The idea that you think that people in Ohio weren't dying of AIDS, that AIDS was limited to just San Francisco. I had family members who died from AIDS. And you know what? My family treated it like it was some big secret, some fucking scandal. I didn't learn that that was the reason why my cousin died until he had been in the ground for 10 years. So don't you come in here and fucking tell me that like this was a non-thing. And I live in Minnesota, motherfucker. People were dying across this country, and now you are trying to tell me wasn't that big of a deal. Fuck you. You spit on the graves of American citizens. You spit on the legacy of hardworking Americans. You are dishonest. You are disloyal to this country. And no one in this country should owe you a damn until you make good to every single one of those people who died due to people like you turning a blind eye when it mattered the most. People like my cousin needed people like you, and you guys didn't show up, and instead you laughed at them as they wasted away in hospital wards across this country. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Oh, why are you so excited? 'Cause people in my family died. Why am I so excited? I don't know. Maybe because I love people in my family. And maybe that's an idea that is incomprehensible to bigoted pieces of shit like you. But I'm done with that. But this is the kind of thing, right? That people like Amir Odom exist to launder. People like Amir Odom exist to launder the opinions of that person I just banned from my chat. People like Amir Odom exist to provide plausible deniability. So that the people like the guy I just banned from my chat can go about their day thinking that they're good people, that they're honest, that they're hardworking Americans, that they care about their communities. Amir Odom exists to provide a barrier between that bigot and their own bigotry. And I have a limited amount of patience for that shit.
That exists out there. You can be that and it's fine. And again, the only reason I say that you can be that and it's fine is because when I came out the closet, I thought, and I read the comments, there's a couple of y'all too who felt that because you were gay, you had to be
107
gay.
deaths in Ohio. 107.
107. And you know what? LGBTQ community in the 1980s in Ohio, not that big. It was probably a pretty sizable portion of the LGBTQ population in Ohio at the time who was living openly. Never knew your cousin died from AIDS? How heartbreaking. Yeah.
Jack, you are the best.
Thanks, stop the stupidity. I don't make it a habit to talk about, like, how my family members died. But, fuck, man. My grandfather was a fucking war hero in World War II. The amount my family has sacrificed for this country is ridiculous. And bigots will just come in here and shit on all of that. We had a president who turned his back on LGBTQ people suffering an epidemic that killed hundreds of thousands of them, and he sat back, did nothing, and pretended it wasn't happening until finally it started affecting straight people. And people like Amir Odom are like, well, why do we even need a pride movement anymore? We need a pride movement because there is a sizable portion of the American population, of American politicians, of people with power who would see each and every one of us dead if they could manage it.
You don't have to. You can just be you. It's okay.
I'm going to try to address this concept with as much nuance and grace that I think that it deserves. I'm going to give a few different examples of what I mean, but I hate when people push their lifestyle or their, opinions on other people.
Yeah.
Your journey is not everyone's journey, right? It's part of the reason why I don't really care about Pride Month, and I don't take offense if people don't support Pride Month, because, it's a little pushy. It's a little, noxious to an extent, in my opinion.
It is. It's very obnoxious. It's very in your face. It's very aggressive. Accept me. Love me. Embrace me. Yo, do that for yourself. And if your friend groups around you support you, your family and friends, and you're chilling. We all got the same rights and protections of the United States. The hell you doing all this for? It's not necessary.
Don't take people's lack of support for Pride Month as a lack of support for me, or me being a normal gay in a monogamous relationship being able to get married. That is what is going to win people over if that is the goal. It's just you.
No, there is no amount of making yourself palatable that will win over these people. There's no amount. Can't do it. Because bigotry is not rational. Bigotry is not a rational response to the world. It is not rational to hate people who have a different sexuality than you. It is not rational to hate people who have a different gender identity than you. It is not rational. It's not a rational idea. It is an irrational one that is taught and reinforced in different social circles. The idea that you can make yourself more palatable by simply being more normal, that's not true.
Living your normal life, being normal.
Yes, you just existing and highlighting and showing that, hey, there are gay people like this that exist. I've come across people on this channel, and I get the DMs on Instagram and the comments where there's been some, people admit it. Yo, I thought I was homophobic. I thought I hated gays, but I don't hate gay people.
I don't hate gay people. I just hate the degenerate gay people. You're one of the good ones. I would never hate someone like you. I just hate all of those gay people. Again, this is just the laundering of said bigotry. It is just creating the plausibility, the plausible deniability for those bigots.
Showing that it's you can be gay and be normal, but the problem I have is with this community, this lifestyle, that identity. That's the problem people have.
Do we have to support Pride Month? I don't know. Do we have to support civil rights for LGBTQ people? My answer would be yes. Other people who are bigots would say no.
But then people come out now I have gay friends. I used to be homophobic, but now I have a lot of gay friends because I've realized I just didn't like.
Is the audio desynced? Maybe you need to refresh. It's not desynced on my end.
That not liking that doesn't make you homophobic, especially when you have gay friends and you support them and you love them and you embrace their relationships and their marriages and their kids and all that. What that's shown me personally is that there is a separation between gay and LGBTQ. There is a separation between a normal gay and this idea or this, again, caricature of what a gay man's supposed to be. The more this is highlighted, that hey, we're just Bert and Ernie. Again, we're just two dudes chilling, dog, working hard, pouring into the country with a dual income, no kids. And then eventually you get kids. We're just minding our business. We're chilling.
Yeah, bigots hate the idea of gay people having kids. All you have to do is look up the entire controversy around Dave Rubin having kids and his relationship with the Blaze as a result. Like, he literally got called in by Glenn Beck for Glenn Beck to try and scold him out of having children after suddenly a whole swath of the Blaze's audience realized Dave Rubin was gay. Because he posted a picture of him and his husband with children.
The more you do that, the more you highlight that we're just out here existing, the more respect we'll gain, like we were gaining throughout the 2010s, that, hey, actually gay people are chill. They good. They chilling. Great parents, pouring into their kids, pouring into their families.
Look, there's nothing wrong if you just want to be a Will and Grace gay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with looking down your nose at other types of LGBTQ
While
people.
I was growing up, AIDS, and by extension sex, was expressed to me as a literal death sentence. Maybe that's why it took me 40 years to understand I was trans.
Yeah, exactly. People tried to use this, and by people I mean Christians in particular, and I know this because I grew up a fundamentalist Christian, tried to use AIDS as reason for why abstinence was the only way, because if you weren't abstaining, you could get AIDS and die. It was literally something that was like taught to like teenagers in Sunday school. Yeah, it was also part of like that whole purity culture, which was deeply, deeply weird. The purity balls, man. Super fucking weird.
Doing what they need to do. Are there bad apples? Yes. Are there straight bad apples? Yes. If we just focus on being a good human, focus on good families, good communities, we'll be chilling.
I always find it interesting when queer women that are not lesbians are like, I'm not gay enough.
This is what I'm talking about. I have no relation to this. I don't understand this. It like based off of what we know language.
I'm sorry, wait.
Lesbians are like, I'm not gay enough.
This is what I'm talking about. I have no relation to this. I don't understand this. It like based off of what we know language to be and definitions to be, this doesn't make sense to me. A queer woman that's not a lesbian. So you're a straight woman? Live your life.
Yeah, because there are only two ways a woman might be gay. That's either straight or lesbian. Or, bisexual, maybe biromantic. Like, I don't know. Like, there are other types of like sexualities that might have a broader strength, broader spectrum of attraction. Yeah, pansexual, asexual, biromantic. Yeah, like, there are a whole host of ways this could manifest.
Purity culture always confounded me. When do we ever praise inexperience? How do you get so good at sex? I was homeschooled.
I mean, I wish it confounded me, but the reality... First of all, Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. Thank you for supporting the show. And Anime Sidekick Al, also thank you for the $10 super chat. But it doesn't confuse me because effectively the rhetoric I got growing up was, if you have sex, you become like used gum and no one wants to chew used gum. You can't unchew gum. And so that idea got taught to a lot of guys. And a lot of guys internalized it. And when they grew up to be 30, 40, 50-year-old men, a lot of them put on a pedestal this idea of sex with somebody who's never had sex before. And so a lot of 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old men in America, straight men, pursue sex with the youngest possible people they can find. So that's why you get like how an entire show like How I Met Your Mother has a character whose entire thing is being like a 30 to 40-year-old man having sex with 18-year-olds. It's how you get like one of the most popular boards on Reddit being r/jailbait for like 15 years. It's how you get like the creepy level of sexualization famous girls go through. Like I'm old enough to remember the Olsen twins having an online countdown to the day and hour and minute they turned 18 years old. And it was like one of the most trafficked websites on the internet. As a result of stuff like this, there was like this hyper fixation on getting on virginity, on like adult men wanting to have sex with virgin girls. And it's deeply gross and it's deeply disgusting, and like it is unfortunately part of the reality we live in.
Do what you want to do, but we are not one and the same. I do not relate with this. I do not relate with the jump scare Lilitinos of the world. I don't relate with the they thems. I don't relate with any of that.
But that's fine. You don't have to relate. You just have to accept. You just have to accept that they exist and deserve respect.
I don't.
You don't have to. It's not for you. Presumably you're not non-binary.
Are there some correlations between, the LGBTQ community? Sure, there are some similarities, some of the same, hobbies, whatever it may be. But because it's been lumped in together so much, and early on, we did have the same common enemy, had to fight through the same different things, I feel like that's since changed.
I feel like that's since changed. We got ours. Bye. It's genuinely like we got ours, fuck y'all.
And it has gotten to the point where there are certain sects of the TQ plus community that's completely gone off the rails and makes, like, if I'm a gay man looking at this like this is crazy, what the hell you think straight people are doing? If I'm a gay man...
I mean, I know straight people, and the straight people who aren't bigots just go, oh, you're non-binary. Cool. Hey, mate, they're really cool. You gotta meet them. There is such a thing as an ally who's straight, Like, what do you think the straights are doing? I don't know, being cool and chill if they're not bigots.
Calling out all these different things, whether it be the trans kids, the drag queens dancing in front of children, the pride parades in elementary schools. If I'm a gay man calling that out and saying this is wrong, what do you think straight people are doing and how are they feeling?
Okay, question.
Let's go back to sleep, Rahaf. We're so tired. See the bunny sleeping till it's nearly noon. Shall we wake them with a merry tune? They're so still. Are they ill? Wake up soon. Let's pretend to sleep. Wake up, little bunnies! Skip, little bunny, skip, skip, skip. Skip, little bunny, skip, skip, skip. Skip, little bunny.
Oh my god!
Skip, 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 don't stop.
Oh my god! A woman in a costume dancing in front of that child. Oh my lord. How could it be? What degeneracy is this? Like, I just want you guys to understand, Amir Odom is so full of shit that he's like, I don't support drag queens dancing in front of children. And he's just like, you just watched a woman in a costume dance with a child. When drag queens are reading to children and dancing with children, that's the kind of dancing that they're doing. They have appropriate outfits on that are fun and colorful and, very importantly, fully clothed when they're dancing with kids. But like Amir Odom's like, I don't support this degeneracy. That Sesame Street,
We need to call out what's wrong is wrong and go about our day. And it's important to highlight the normal gays. Shout out to y'all out there for existing and letting it be known you're not a part of this hot mess that is the LGBTQ community, and you're proud of who you are. Your friends love and accept you, and that's all that matters. So if you
wait, you're proud of who you are as like an LGBTQ person, but you're not part of the community, but you're accepted. Okay. I mean, it's good that you're loved and accepted, but it'd be really nice if you weren't trying to earn that love and acceptance by throwing every LGBTQ person that you think makes you look bad under the bus.
Are watching this video right now and you are a normal gay out there, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for just existing, living as you are, and going about your day.
It's really nice of Amir Odom to provide some LGBTQ community for the normal gays. You know? It's really nice of him. Wait a minute! He's creating an LGBTQ community! Get him! He's being hypocritical! Like, this is crazy. The level of hypocrisy is off the charts.
Not really shaming if you are more feminine, if you are more elaborate. It's, if anything, I'm just glad if you're watching this channel right now, hopefully you're the type of person that's just minding their business and doing you, and you're not pushing that on someone else.
What's a normal gay person? A gay person that Amir Odom personally deems as, like, palatable to himself.
Or being rude or demanding that someone respect you. No.
He's building camaraderie straight to jail.
If this guy has a problem with women in costume dancing in front of children, that includes Big Bird. Hey everybody, this guy hates Big Bird, get him.
God.
I'm glad you are embracing who you are. Your friends know you for who you are, and you're going about your day minding your business. Kudos to you. And if you're someone out there that's in the closet right now, down low, whatever it may be, you can just be you. You don't have to be a part of this LGBTQ community.
Hey, is his formulation here that people are in the closet right now because they're afraid of the LGBTQ community? Because I can tell you from experience, I wasn't in the closet because I was afraid of LGBTQ people. I was in the closet because I was afraid of straight people and how straight people would react to me. I don't think I've ever heard of someone in the closet about being LGBTQ because they were afraid of the reaction of other LGBTQ people.
You can embrace just being a regular schmegular dude, a normal gay out there, and go about your life. Because now I see that there is a trend of, yes, it's more accepting being gay, but I feel like more on the left side of politics, you have more gays that are open in who they are, and yeah, I'm gay, this, that, whatever. But you have...
Why no belly dancing for 5-year-old boys? Why you being weird? Stop it.
More the middle and the right, conservative gays, normal gays who don't even want to come out and say they're gay because they don't want to be automatically attached to the LGBTQ community. Like, I encourage, like, especially those that are in the closet and they want to come out to their family, the number one thing I recommend is saying, hey, I'm gay, but you don't have to be scared about me changing. I'm gay.
Straight people aren't afraid of their children changing. That's not why they're bigoted against LGBT. Okay. All right.
Hey, but I'm the same person you've always met, known, and loved. Nothing about me is changing, and the only thing that's changed is that you know something about me. That's it. But I'm not gonna tell you I'm gay and then switch up automatically, flaunting around, dipping and diving. Like, again, I said before, I'd be dipping and diving to concerts, minding my business. And then just because now you know.
Wait, I thought you weren't going to. So you're doing your flamboyant, like, performance when you're at concerts, but not like the other degenerate gays. I'm very confused about this one. Gotta be honest.
That I'm gay doesn't mean I'm gonna switch up on you, twirling around, dancing, becoming drag. Like, oh my gosh, I stop. I just love you. Like, no.
But you are going to Vogue? Like, what? you're gonna do some voguing, but you're like, okay. I'm very flamboyant, but like not flamboyant like that. Okay, not flamboyant like in a way that straight people are going to be uncomfortable with. I'm flamboyant in a way where like I'm going to do it, but you know, like not in a gay way. Okay, cool.
You just know who I have sex with. That's about it. And then also major.
That kind of rhetoric is basically rapid onset gay. It genuinely is. Like fear mongering about like some kind of rapid werewolf like transformation into a gay man.
Shout out to just regular straight people out there that are accepting of gay people for as they are, for who they are, and go about their day. Shout out to y'all. That's a real ally to me when you can acknowledge, like, hey, that's gay. Being gay is really not for me, but then also being straight's not for me. You don't like what I do.
That's, yeah, that's like most normal people in America, and also not most Republicans.
In bed, I don't like what you do in bed. We cool, we even. Shout out to the straight allies out there that accept gay people, gay families, as long as they're good people. They're pouring into their family, education, love, leadership. Like, if they're doing that, kudos to you out there. And I see you and I appreciate you and I'm thankful for you. So if you like this kind of content, again, be sure to subscribe. We have more conversations like this coming up. We will be diving in.
We've got more people to throw into the bus, y'all. We got more people to throw into the bus. Can he define regular? Genuinely, his description of what he thinks a normal gay is just kind of seems to be any gay that doesn't make him feel personally icky. Which, you know, like, that's pretty awful. You know, because there are bigots out there, right? Like Bowtie Truck Tech over in Vertical Chat on YouTube, saying I'd be all sad if my kid was gay. Exactly. Like, that's why, like, a lot of gay people stay closeted, right? Because when you're a kid, like, the adult in the room is much bigger than you and can hurt you in various ways, both emotionally, mentally, physically. It's why disproportionately LGBTQ children are kicked out of their homes, abandoned by their parents and families. You know, like, that bigotry exists, and trying to say you can come out, it's totally fine. You can come out to your parents and family and say, just say you're not going to change and you won't be flamboyant about it and everything will be fine. That's the flamboyance is not the issue to bigots. That's not bigoted bullshit. Go back in the closet like the good old days. But that's the thing, right? Like, what's crazy to me is bigots will say shit like this while denying that they're bigots, right? That's the exact reason Amir Odom makes this content. It's to provide cover for bigots who think like this. It's actually incredible that in real time, we're getting the kinds of conservatives in this chat right now who are exactly validating my points for why this content exists, why Amir Odom has a channel with almost 800,000 subscribers, and this video in particular has almost 200,000 views, right? Like, this is the reason his channel functions. It's because bigots desire a way to say, I'm not bigoted, I'm the rational one. I have rational, reasonable reasons to feel the way I do about insert minority. It like, genuinely. Because no one, even the most bigoted people alive, want to feel like they're the bad guys. They want to make themselves into the hero, the Naruto of their own narrative. And so instead of acknowledging their bigotry and biases, instead of acknowledging their level of hatred, instead of acknowledging the kinds of things that they say that are deeply, deeply racist or homophobic or transphobic, instead of acknowledging that, they want to build up a mental structure that protects them and their own ego, that convinces them they're the good guys. And, like, you can see that happen in real time with folks like that commenting in the YouTube vertical chat for this one, you know? It's actually fascinating to me. Anyway, if you got anything out of this, folks, we've been on a wild and crazy journey here, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment about what you think the purpose of ongoing pride movements and marches are, what you like to see at your local pride, what brings you joy, and also, hey, we need to get organized. It's not enough to just show up once a year to Pride. It's not enough to just show up every so often and know the correct political positions. We need to actually start translating that into action, into political organization. We need to start translating that into a takeover of the Democratic Party, to make it more progressive, to kick out corporate Democrats who are bought and paid for by the very same donors who back Republican candidates. We need to translate that into folks getting organized with their local DSA and their local labor groups. We need folks to start getting involved. And if you don't know where to start, we can help you do that. Join our Discord, !Discord in any of the chats, and reach out to Gamergy for help organizing in your local DSA. And reach out to Dragonfly for help organizing your local Dems. And Folks, last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. Go check it out. It is non-tucking lingerie that fits, and it's sexy as hell to boot. So check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat deck is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.